Hello and welcome. Steve Slack here with my first ever GameMaker tutorial. Started using GameMaker a few weeks ago and quite interested in the way it all works, but I was having trouble making particles do what I wanted, so I created a little particle maker. This is just a quick tutorial on how to use my particle maker. So first of all, I've exported it as an exe, so I'll just run it. And it's appeared on the wrong screen, so we just bring it into there like that. Okay, this is my particle maker. As you can see, I've got three main screens. The menu side here, this is the display screen, and this is a simulation screen where you can do all sorts of things with the particles eventually. It's still a work in progress, so bear with me. Okay, I've got two controls on the screen. One is to pause the particles. As you can see, we now have a pause. And the other is to make it full screen so you can see what sort of effect it would give you in your game. And then we can get it out of that and start it playing again. So that's just a generic particle system that I have set up. Now the way that this works is you adjust the system to what it appears on the screen, and then you can save the data out and put it into GameMaker and use it straight from scratch. But first of all, let's show you how it works. We have a menu on this side, and as you can see, it's got quite a lot of buttons on it. They're just click down buttons. System settings is something we're not going to worry about at this stage. They're just generalities about the system itself. The first thing I'm going to change though for our particle system we're creating today is the emitter settings. Now once you've created an emitter in GameMaker, it is basically placed on screen where you want it to be. That can be changed live by changing the region. And so if you want a particle system to follow an object, for instance if it's the smoke trail to one of your missiles, then you just assign that particle emitter to be region to be drawn in the step command of the object. But for today what we're going to do is just move the position of the emitter to the top of the screen. As you see, it's moved up there already. And we're going to make its width a full screen one. So already our particles start dropping out all over the screen, and we don't need any height for it at all, so we'll just leave that as a 0. One important point, if you right click your button on one of these sliders, automatically sets it to 0. Okay, we're going to leave the rectangle as a shape and the distribution as linear, and the parts per step we're going to increase to around 10, I think would be a good number. You see there's a lot more particles now. Okay, so the next menu we're going to look at is the particle life. Now as you can see, our particles aren't living very long, and I want them to live a lot longer. I want them to go all the way down the screen once we've got the system running. And I don't need them to die in any particular order, so I'm just going to leave them really close together so they have the same sort of run. And its direction is going to change. At the moment you see we've got emission from 0 degrees around to 359, which is basically all the way around. And we're going to change the direction to approximately downwards. So the minimum is going to be 273, say, and bit less than that, perhaps 263, and the maximum we'll put at around about 280, 278, that'll do. Okay, so now you see all the particles are falling down the screen. I'm going to wiggle the particles as well. Now what this basically means is the direction will change by a certain number of degrees at random wiggle intervals. So if we put the wiggle up, you'll see straight away the particles start waving as they come down. I'm going to change the speed so they don't come down quite so quickly. There you are, we've got a nice slow fall now, and we don't need any gravity on this particular particle, and the size is going to be pretty small as well. We don't want any big particles, so we're going to go for size 1 and 2. So that means there'll be a variation in particle size, but we're not going to have massive particles. And also for the particle size, we're going to change the scale. We're going to bring the scale right down to about 0.1 or 0.11, which is the closest that we can get on this particular slider at this time. Okay, and then we're going to change the particle's shape. Now currently it's set as a pixel, so each particle is just a tiny pixel. When we reduce the scale a lot, like that, then it's only the larger particles that show up. But we're going to change the shape, which means that it's going to have more pixels. Sorry about that. We'll change it to snow. And there you see we've got a lot of lovely little snowflakes. Now we have the ability to change the colour over time. Oh, before we do that, the snow's not reaching the bottom of the screen. So I think the life's alright. It's probably the particle speed that needs to be increased slightly. So I'll put it up to about 4.6. And a bit of variation, because it is falling snow after all. Not all snowflakes will fall at the same speed. There we go. Now we can adjust the colour. Obviously the colour is going to start out as white, and it's going to finish off just slightly off white. There, like that. In fact, you can actually make this colour a little bluer than the... Blue's not too bad as far as snow is concerned. And switch that particle off. Don't switch it off, sorry, switch that menu off. The next thing we want to look at is the alpha of the particle. As you can see, they're coming grey towards the end, but what we want to do is just make it so that towards the end of its life the particle becomes a bit clearer as well. So there we are. So we've got nice bright white ones up in the sky, and the lower we get, the less you can see the snowflakes. And that's a snowflake system created using my particle creator. Down here I have 3 other different menus, which at the moment I'm not going to show you too much about. Basically it gives the ability to add backgrounds, change the colour of the background, so if you want it to be a dark night we can sort of darken it up a bit, make it nice dark blue. There we are, that's even prettier. Well, I'm good at this. And close that off. These 2 haven't been implemented yet. Next we can go over to our file menu, and we have the ability to save a file and load a file. So if I save this file here, and we'll call it Snow2, and we can load files as well. So for instance, we load files. Normally these are stored in local and inside the particle maker directory. We'll find you can see there's quite a few there, so I can actually load one of my older ones, perhaps a firework one. There we are. Actually that's just fire, but there you go. And then load the file again, and you'll see that our Snow2 particle's there, and changes back to our Snow2 particle. One final thing to show you on this first tutorial is the code export. We click the export code button like that. No message comes up, which I'm pretty sure there should be, but now once we've exported the code we can put our particle editor away, and I'm just going to bring back up Game Maker. You see we've got Game Maker here. We'll do a new project, and we'll call it part test, and create the project. Okay, as you can see we've got nothing whatsoever in the project. We just basically go to, need to create a room, and we need to create an object. We need to have the object inside the room. So object 0, we'll put that there. Okay, and then we go to object 0, add an event. We'll do the draw event. Draw. Actually no, we won't. We don't need to do a draw event, sorry. We'll do the create event because it's not a draw command. And in there we'll drag a code box in. There we are. Here's our code box. Until my resolution is normally a lot higher than this. Okay, and then in our code box we just do Control V. As you can see we've generated some code. Automatic code generated by Particle Maker, my initials in the copyright. Creates a new system, new emitter, new particle, sets the particle up, and then at the bottom of the code we start the system streaming because it's a stream command. So we click OK. So as you see we've just created a new project, we click OK on that, and we run. Oh, it's not there, let's drag it in. Oh, we haven't done a background colour, but as you can see our snow particle system works first time. We haven't done anything else, there's nothing else in this project whatsoever, and that code was generated from my particle Dubry. Thanks a lot, bye.